What is up, ladies, gentlemen, and all things in between? Today we have on, you already know, we don't need the formal introduction. Preston, the gunslinger Gregory. We're going to try and make these weekly every Sunday. So here's this week's edition, number 13 of the Mind Talks podcast. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, we're a little late today because things came up and stuff happened, but
Yeah.
uh, here we are making it happen. We said we were gonna do it Sunday, and it's only like 11 there, so counts,
Yeah.
I
It's
guess.
currently 10:43 by me and 8:43 by you.
Yeah, so I just got done doing a bunch of sparring rounds and hit an ice bath for a nice recovery. Came here, showered, and now we're here getting it done. So,
Sweet. Yeah, dude. That cold water is an actual life changer.
dude, so
It's
like,
like,
yeah, I've gone up to like 10, 15 minutes in there. But at some point, it's like a dick measuring contest. And
oh, for sure.
we only did like 5 minutes tonight because like at some point you cap out, as far as I know, at some point you cap out the benefits you're going to get from it.
Right.
So we just did like a quick little 5 minute one. But yeah, it's so nice. And then I sleep 10 times better that night.
Yeah.
I feel way better in the morning.
To me, it's just like I know obviously there's the physical benefits that come with, but just the pure mental benefits are like strictly the reason I do it because like you could you could fight in a day, right? Like you could spar super hard or you could have an actual fight, but you can't do that every day. The cold water is like a fight that you could have every single day, like that's just one small battle and one way to get uncomfortable that you could do every single day. And I think that you need to be uncomfortable every single day to just force growth upon yourself. Because to me, I don't feel good if I'm comfortable all day. So
Yeah,
that,
I agree with that. I used to do like cold showers every fucking day. Now it's a bit tougher, but yeah, no doubt. I feel like I get almost like fucking depressed like when I'm comfortable all day and have nothing to do and I like don't go to work or it's a Saturday and I don't train. I'm just like, what do I do? Like I feel like when I feel like I have like no purpose besides like just hanging out and relaxing, I'm like, wow, this is fucking
yeah,
empty.
right. And it's sort of that's how I always was too. And then I read this like little thing a few months ago. I just saw it on like Instagram or something, and it was like rest isn't actually resting if you don't accept the fact that you're gonna rest. Like if you just think about how guilty you are while resting, then you really aren't letting your mind rest. So then what helped me was just really setting aside my resting time, like making sure I got everything done and then saying, okay, Saturday, Sunday, those are my recovery days. I don't train Saturday, Sunday right now. So it's like I know I push hard, extremely hard, Monday through Friday because I know that I could allow myself to rest that Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, no doubt. Usually I did Saturday, Sundays. I would lift on one of those days, but like right now, since I have two fights booked, Saturday, so yesterday I lifted, today we went and did some sparring. So we switched it up now to where like we'll go in and do a bunch of sparring and specific work like cage work and stuff like that on Sundays. And then Mondays are usually just like hard cardio days as far as practice goes. So yeah, it's nice. I'm not sparring more as far as like actual rounds, but just changing up the sparring days and getting more cardio in. So, it's a lot, but when you have two fights booked, you kind of feel like you have to. So,
Hell yeah. My guy's got the Hamza Chimaev schedule right now, bro.
for
The
real, dude.
two fights booked. I got to book my flight actually to come out to see your second one and to get
Hell
some
yeah, dude.
training stuff. So yeah, I'll probably book that tomorrow or something. But
Yeah, it's gonna be
fucking
sick. I'm
yeah,
excited. It's a fucking lot, but yeah, it's the life. So get as many AMI fights in as possible, and then the more amateur experience I get, the sooner I can go pro and make some cheddar. 500
yeah.
bucks to show up, 500
Right,
bucks to
right,
win.
right. Yeah, dude, it's nuts. It's crazy that like you would think you get something for amateur. And I guess they do like the whole ticket sales thing and like all that, but it's like not everyone can fucking sell
Exactly.
50
Like,
tickets. Like
yeah, I don't know. I got some ticket sales for my first one, It wasn't a lot. And I sold a good amount of tickets, but like I only made like $5 per ticket. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then my second one, they didn't give me any tickets to sell. I haven't gotten any tickets for these next two. So, I mean, I don't really care. Like I've said before, like if they want me to travel, like preferably if they pay for it, but like I'll pay to fight. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I just know like in the future I'm going to be getting paid. So making the sacrifices now and like maybe, have to book my own hotel room or pay for the gas or whatnot. Thankfully, we've been pretty lucky. Like the last fight, they paid for our hotel, and it was like a nice hotel too. So that made it a little bit easier as far as like an 8 hour fucking drive to go fight.
Sweet. Yeah, no, that is awesome. Because there's times like they have the TBA Muay Thai tournament in June. It's in Des Moines, Iowa. Des Moines, Iowa, I think, which is like 6, 7 hours from me. So it's like I would if I choose to go, which I might not. One reason because I'll probably be fighting in July, but second reason just because like it'll probably run me like 800-900 bucks to book a hotel room for 5 or 6 days to drive the 7.5 hours there, 7.5 hours back, and it's like, fuck, dude, you know?
Yeah, yeah, with like tournament style stuff, it's different because like they're not like, hey, we want this guy on the show,
Right,
kind
right.
of thing. So it's just kind of like whoever shows up is competing. So yeah, it's tough that way because they aren't gonna give you gas money or anything like that. But
For
I
sure. I
wouldn't.
was
I mean, like I'm a big fan of experience, but I mean, if you're gonna fight like soon after that or whatever, especially for your debut, I'd just probably just wait it out and save yourself some money.
Yeah, I'm so hyped for that, dude. I'm like counting down the days, even though I don't have an official date. Just like I know it'll be within that time frame. So, like I said, we're hoping for the one date, but I'll take anything I can get. I'm just itching, dude.
Yeah,
Oh,
no doubt. It's a it's a fun feeling. It's a very sobering feeling as well. Because,
yeah,
like you can train, like there's fucking guys that train and they're just like, oh, fucking anyone, anywhere, anytime. And then you get a fight offer and they're like, well, that doesn't work or whatnot. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So, um,
yeah.
yeah,
I feel like at the amateur level, the win is getting to the fight. You know, like
yeah. And that's
that's a
like,
that.
yeah, I mean, if it was up to me, I would never lose a fight, amateur or pro. But I mean, at the amateur level, it is really about like experience and things like that. So,
Yeah,
um,
no, for sure.
like when I go pro eventually, I probably won't be fighting back to back to back in like 3 months unless if like some sick opportunities come up.
Right.
But I mean, this one's going really well, honestly. Like I'm really happy with how it's going. I feel fucking good. I have no like real injuries. My weight is epic. I mean, since I got more time to like set up my weight, I could eat enough to where I'm like fueling for my workouts and my sparring sessions. And I'm eating enough where my body's not just like shutting down. Like in the last one, I was eating like so minimal calories that my body wasn't thermoregulating. I was like freezing my ass off the whole time because like my body didn't have enough to keep
Hmm.
myself warm. So I was walking around with two pairs of sweatpants, two fucking hoodies, like training in sweatpants and hoodies. So this one's nice. I'm walking around lighter than my last cut, and I don't even have to go as low. And then in March, I'll go all the way down to 25 again. But by that time, I'll be walking around
You
even
mean
lighter. So
May, but no big
yeah,
deal.
May, my bad. Sorry, CTE.
Yeah, I was about to say. So, real quick, give us or it doesn't have to be quick, but little walkthrough of perfect nutrition day for you. Just a regular training day. Let's say you have sparring.
Like what I eat for that day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it depends. Like today, um, so like if I work, I usually wake up at like 7. So I try to keep my meals in the early AM, so like relatively lighter because I know throughout the day I'm going to be hungry. So I get to eat more rather than like if I do a massive breakfast, then I have to kind of really watch as far as the snackage goes and things like that. And I know some people like to do like intermittent fasting, but like for me, that's always just shut down my metabolism. I always work better like eating a bunch of meals, but relatively smaller.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what I've been doing. But like Say I work that day, I'll do like 2 eggs in the morning, maybe like an orange with that, and then do my daily greens, which there's no calories in that, but I'll do my daily greens. And then I usually have like a midday snack of like a banana and a protein shake. And that usually tides me over till lunch, which will be like a main protein source, like your chicken. And then, like, if I'm, cutting pretty heavily as far as the calories go, I'll just do a metric fuck ton of veggies because you can have a massive plate of veggies for like 50, 75 calories.
Yeah, and they fill you up.
Exactly. So I'll do that. And then I usually get a small snack in before training, like some form of carbs. So I'll do like maybe another banana, another orange, something like that. And then dinner, usually again, just like another big protein source. I've been doing a lot of like protein bowls where it'll be like, and it's not like it tastes amazing, but it's just good enough. I'll do like tuna, ground beef, or like tuna and something else, and then mix in some veggies and stuff like that. So food isn't necessarily like super, super fun when you're cutting a bunch of calories out, but it doesn't have to be like, the typical white rice and chicken over and over and over again.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I think nutrition is it's probably, I would say, number two thing for recovery, right behind sleep. I think sleep is definitely probably most important for recovery, but I think nutrition is right there, right behind it. I think you have to have both sort of go hand in hand. And it's something that a lot of younger athletes don't take into consideration. You see a lot of more experienced athletes or athletes only at the highest level, um, worrying about that stuff. But then you go to like high school, like varsity sports, and you got like kids eating from the concession stands like 15 minutes before a game or before a wrestling match or whatever, like, and I think they're hindering performance, but they don't have the knowledge to even make a better choice than what they're making.
yeah, for me, like my sleep is so big, but I tend to like miss out on it because I'm kind of like an insomniac at times. Um, but I notice like if I get a good night's sleep, I'm gonna spar way better. And the biggest thing is just like my mood. Like I just feel better about
Yeah.
everything. Like no one's gonna be able to shit on my day. Shit on my day. I'll just be happy. Someone could be like, "Fuck you," and I'll be like, "Cool, man." Anyway, back to what I
Right.
was doing. Versus like if I have slept like 4 hours and someone's like, "Fuck you, bro," I'll get like pissed. Like I'll let it really bug me. Like so,
What's up,
but
bro?
yeah, but not letting people control my emotions definitely is aided by a good night's sleep. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a big one.
That's something I sort of, actually, going back to controlling your emotions, I've sort of been slacking on a strong meditation routine,
Mhm.
strictly because like I'm a very routine oriented person, and it sort of fell out of my routine. Not completely. I do a lot of like visualization, and I'll just take time. I'll do like literally, if it's only just like 5-10 minutes, where I'll just sort of like sit there, close my eyes, breathe, and just like visualize about certain things. But I've really been missing out on that sort of clearing the mind and just like following the breath and doing that for like 10-15 minutes. And I could like seriously feel a major difference in my emotions and in my thoughts and in the control over both those things than if I were to, when I was on a consistent daily morning and night routine of even just 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the night, of just really slowing your breath down, following it in, following it out. Like your mind starts to shift, bring it back, and become aware of it. And like I've really been missing out on those practices. And that's something I'm really going to start doing again instead of just visualization, because the difference for me is huge. And like, seriously, I can see so much of a difference when I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've slacked on my meditations for a long time now. I feel like for me it's hard because I try to sit there and like follow my breath and everything, but I just feel like a lot of times I'm like, God, dude, my back hurts or my shoulders hurt so much that like the pain takes away my mind from being able to focus on my breath and things like that. I know some people are like, "We'll just lay down and do it," but I feel like if I lay down and meditate, then I'm just like fucking dreaming
Just
basically.
get that morphine drip going, bro.
Yeah, for real. So, yeah, I don't know. It's something I definitely need to do, especially because I have like a crazy stimulation problem where I'm like, all right, I need to have a podcast on at all times or music on at all
Right.
times, or this or that. So it's hard for me to do like one thing at once. But yeah, I don't know. When I was like meditating consistently, dude, it wasn't even like just I could feel my mood being better. Like when you get into a deep meditative state, you just are able to visualize and see crazy shit.
Yeah, that's actually going to what you just said with like the visual, or not the visual, the stimulation sort of addiction almost. Like
Yeah.
that's something I noticed I fell into the trap too. And something I think I've actually been doing a really good job on, and I do feel the difference, is just like you said, I've always like I was literally a 4 to 5 podcast a day kind of guy. Like I was banging out like 3 Rogan podcasts a day at least, like crazy every single day, like from the time I woke up to the time I go to sleep. And what I've been doing is just like, okay, like I'll wake up and I set an alarm every day, even though I really don't need it, but just because out of habit, I just set an alarm. So like my alarm will go off, I'll stop my alarm, I'll get up, and then I'll do like my whole morning routine, make breakfast, eat breakfast, all that without ever looking at my phone again since shutting my alarm off and just like letting my brain naturally wake up as opposed to like opening my eyes and then just immediately surfing and like just immediately mindlessly scrolling through like Instagram and stuff. And that's like I don't know if it has a difference. I'm assuming it does, but that's complete speculation. But I just feel like I feel better doing it, you know?
Yeah, it would definitely. I think it definitely does. I'm the kind of guy that like wakes up and goes to take his morning piss, and he's already scrolling through Instagram and shit like that. And I'm just like, what's new? What did I miss? All that kind of stuff. So I'm really, really bad about it. Um, Especially because like, I, I mean, without a phone, like all you know is you and your life, which is a good thing. But I mean, it's also sometimes a bad thing. But there is times where you need just to yourself, and in the morning that's kind of crucial. But like as soon as you open up that phone, you just open yourself up to 800,000 different things going on in the world
Yeah.
of like Will Smith slapped the shit out of Chris Rock
Right,
and this is
right.
happening and that's happening. So it's a lot to just open up right away to when your brain's not even like fully firing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely something I can speak of firsthand because we were just sort of talking about it with like MMA specific to where I take in so much MMA information. I legitimately don't know anybody else that has the influx of MMA information coming in that I do. Like my days are spent when I'm not training, like I'm watching YouTube videos at work for like 7 hour shifts, just like watching how to blank, how to improve your jab, how to throw. I was literally watching how to throw a better 1-2 before we got on this call. Or like, and then before that video, I was watching Mighty Mouse versus Rotang and like breaking it down myself. And it's just like because I just love it so much that I'm constantly trying to surround myself with it. But then at the same time, I found myself like drowning in it. And it didn't like we were talking about it and you were talking about burnout, and it wasn't necessarily giving me burnout. Like I still love doing it, but it was just giving me anxiety and like just giving me a such an overthinking, anxious mindset of like really being way too technical and overthinking everything, and really sort of got me into a super unhealthy loop of comparing myself, like I said, pretty much only in an MMA standpoint, like an MMA technique standpoint, but still comparing myself, my technique to these elite level guys and being like, well, fuck, like who am I? Like what, like, like it's just like, what the hell? And I think that is something that sort of just shutting social media off could do for your life in general. Because, like I said, I'm talking from an MMA specific standpoint, but I think it goes that way for anything, for all media, and it just that's why I don't know if there's science behind this, but they always say like right now we're in like a mental health pandemic because all anxiety, depression, all that as at its
100%.
highest. And I think it's because of social media and because of the constant loop of self-comparison that everybody has to go through.
Yeah. Well, it's like you see everyone's life and you're like, that's so dope. They're doing all this crazy shit and I'm not. And you just like question yourself, like, okay, well, I must be a fucking loser because I'm not on these private jets and these big ass yachts and this and that.
Right.
And it's like, that's not everyone's path. And if you think it is, that's like, great, do your thing. But most people aren't made for that. Like, I'm chasing this dream and all that. And like, there's potential of a lot of money, right? But like, that's not why I do it. I don't really like care about, like flexing on the gram that like you have all these nice things. Like, that's never why I've been into it. I mean, obviously, I would like to make a shitload of money. But I think that like when I see that kind of stuff on Instagram, it doesn't really bother me because I've never wanted that. But for me, like when we deleted TikTok, that helped my mental so much because all I saw was these guys that are just fucking jacked out of their face.
Yeah.
And then like, like, oh, I'm natural. And I'm like, first of all, no, you're fucking not. Second of all, now I feel really shitty about myself when it's like all these guys are is like, I mean, and they are big guys, no doubt. And like, it's not easy, even if you are on steroids. So like, no hate, but it's like these guys are just standing in these angles on this juice with these fucking perfect diets.
Lighting.
Yeah, like it just like everything is perfect for them, so it seems, right? And then we just like compare it like, well, fucking I just look like average Joe compared to this guy. So once we deleted TikTok, I just felt way better. And then like I re-downloaded it because I was like, well, maybe let's see. And then I scrolled for like 2 minutes and I was like, this shit sucks. And I just deleted it again. I didn't even have any interest in it. And it just like, it makes me feel way better. But I mean, as far as like the mental health pandemic, like 100%. And people don't want to hear about the right ways to fix it. Like,
Right.
what are you eating? And like all the stuff that we talk about. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I never feel depressed or like I've had panic attacks and anxiety my entire life. And I grew up with that. And, like there was times where I was just like, I can't go places and I can't do these things because I'll have a panic attack. And, wondering like, does anyone else feel this way? Am I normal? And then, like I just learned how to live with it. Like I can have a panic attack in the middle of fucking New York City and I could deal with it and figure it out and not have to take a fucking pill that turns me into a zombie. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And that's what frustrates me is, like, I mean, I go to like homeopathic doctors who take my blood work and are like, here, take this, this, and this, and that'll help you. And then I get told that they're quack doctors, but then, regular doctors are giving out these pills that just turn people into fucking soulless carcasses. You know what I mean? So, everyone can live how they want to live, but it's just like tough to watch people do that to themselves when they don't know any better.
Yeah, I think people. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think people, and I'm not even just like only specifically talking about mental health. I just mean in life in general, but it applies. It's always a search for the easiest solution. It's always people always like I work at a grocery store on the weekends. People are always grabbing the magazine that says how to lose 75 pounds in 10 days or whatever it is, and it's always going to be some bullshit fucking whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like it's never effort. Like people always search for the secret, the fast answer, and there is a secret, and the secret is nobody is doing the actual work that's supposed to go into achieving that goal, and the people that did do that are the people you are trying to be like. That's the secret.
Like, yeah, like like I've said before, I work at GNC and people come in and they're like, I want diet pills. I'm like, do you mean like a fat burner and they're just like, I just don't want to be hungry and I just want to lose all my fat. And I'm like, okay, well, if you're taking something that makes you not hungry, odds are it's fucking terrible for you.
Yeah, definitely.
And like, fat
unless
burners.
it's like Adderall.
Exactly. And I'm not like a big fan of fat burners, So I don't know. I try to be honest with people because I don't want someone to spend fucking $500 on a bunch of shit and then they're just like sitting there in their house like this isn't working. You know what I mean? Like it's just a basic go on fucking Google, look up calorie calculator, figure it out, and do the shitty stuff. There's people that come in for keto, and I'm always like, if you're in a calorie deficit, you don't need to cut out such a big group like carbs. But if you want to do that, that's fine. It just has like the highest percentage of fucking rebound weight anyway. So,
Right.
um, yeah, I mean, there's no secret to it, especially for shit like weight loss and especially fixing stuff like mental health. So,
To anything, like to literally anything in life. And that's why I was just sort of thinking about this the other day on like, I think me and you are people that can get good at anything we want to. And that's specifically because we taught ourselves and we learned how to work hard. You know, that's like they always say somebody who's like a master at something can become a master at anything because they know what it takes to become the master, you know.
yeah.
And I think that just carries over.
Yeah, and it makes you more selective about like what you want to do, you know what I mean? And like it's fine to do something and not be the greatest at it or like have aspirations to be the greatest at it. Like,
Right.
hey, I just do this for fun and like leisure, like for me it's always been tough because when I do something, I'm like, I want to be good at it and I want to be, the best, like I want to have value to it or have it add value to me anyway, when in reality it's like you only get so much energy to do that with, so like pick it wisely, because if you have fucking 10 hobbies and you're like, I want to be the greatest at all of them, there's just not enough time.
Yeah.
So like I pretty much just put all my effort into training, and then the other stuff I do, I just do it because I enjoy it, not because I want to be the best.
Right. Yeah. It takes a lot to get good at something. Like it really takes it's like it's simple, it's extremely simple, but it's very hard, you know.
Yeah.
And it applies to everything, and it's like it's I know not everybody listening to this does or is familiar with jujitsu, but it's like really the jujitsu belt system is like such a perfect application to life of like becoming a blue belt at something or being a white belt at something. And it's like to get to that brown slash black belt level at anything in life, usually 99% of the time takes years and years of like hard work and practice and just obsession to really get good at something. And yeah, like you said, and this is something I've fallen victim to too. I'm not shitting on anybody, but trying to get great at, 10 things at one time, it's like, um, what do they say? Uh, like jack of all trades, master of none or something.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, that one's tough because it's like I don't know, I don't see anything wrong with either. You know what I mean? Like if you want to just be all right at a bunch of stuff, and then or if you want to be just really good at one thing. And the thing is too, like even if you put 10,000 hours into something, you'll be good. You still won't be great. Like
right.
to be great, it takes even more. So that's why like for me, it's nice like because I don't do MMA and I don't train to be like, obviously I want to be good, but I'm not like, all right, my goal is to be good. I do it just because I fucking love to do it. So when I eventually get to certain levels, like it's not gonna be like, oh, I did it. I'm gonna just be like, it's a milestone, but I just do this because I love to do it. So, like I don't know, we've talked about it a bunch of times, but you get that thing and then you don't know what to do with it. But for me,
Yeah,
I feel like I'll just keep going because I love to do it. So
for
uh
sure. I
yeah.
think destination attachment is like the biggest cause of burnout because you attach, and this is something I've talked about on my podcast a million times, so fast forward, but it's like you attach your you attach your like predicted feelings of happiness. Like
Mhm.
now you don't even know if you're gonna be happy or not. You're like anticipated feelings of happiness to achieving something. And then once you achieve something, you're like, oh, that was cool. Now what do I do? And it's like
Yeah.
that, it's like that's constant. That is like it's seriously the most cliche saying in the absolute book. I don't even want to say it out loud, but it's really not the destination, it's the journey, you know? Because it's like
Yeah.
if you love what you do, then you shouldn't be attaching your destination, like you shouldn't be the destination shouldn't just be like the end goal, you know? Like we both have a goal of making it to the UFC. You know what happens when we both get to the UFC? It becomes 50 times harder than what
It
it is
only
right
gets
now.
harder.
Right.
Everyone just gets better.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's like
it's
that's when the real work starts, you know? Like,
yeah. And I
and a
mean
lot of
like
people, or sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean you can see like the the guys who are just like, I fucking made it, and then they just get dominated even though they had a bunch of potential because like they were just like, yeah, I did it. I made it, and that's what all I wanted to do.
It's like
Um
Sage Northcutt stuff.
that one's sad because it's like dude had a lot of potential, but they were just like, here's a bunch of killers, have fun, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Then he went to a different promotion and got his face bashed in
Oh
by
my God.
can't
Cosmo
remember.
Alexander.
Yeah, fucking terrible fight for him, and just
He
got
broke like 80 bones in his face or something
seriously.
crazy like that.
That was
I
brutal.
need
But
young Jamie to look that up.
yeah, you had a question the other day, and you were like, "Wait, don't answer it. Save it for the pod." I'm trying to think what it was.
I asked you, I said, would Preston 5 years ago be proud of Preston today?
Hmm, that's a good one. Um, 5 years ago, so I was 15. Um, yeah, 100%. And it's hard because like I've always like wanted people to be proud of me, um, and like I just like I've wanted everyone to I was that kid that wanted an attaboy type shit. And
Hmm.
now it's like I don't need that at all. Like I know who I am, I know what I'm about, so I don't need someone to be like, "Hey man, good fucking job." But like if 15-year-old me saw all the things that happened in my life and all the things I overcame to what I am now, yeah, 100%. Especially because like when I was 15, like I had trained like a tiny bit and I watched the sport a lot. So in my mind, I was like, I would beat anybody up. Like,
Hmm.
so to now be like, of like, I mean, obviously low level amateur, but to now be a fighter, like training full time and really putting in the time and the effort, yeah, 100% he would. Um, it's two totally different human beings, which is crazy. Like all my friends are like, dude, that's not even the same guy, and it's not, which is good. But yeah, I think I would be, and I wish I could talk to 15-year-old me and be like, hey man, cut this vegetarian shit out,
Yeah.
be a fucking man, like But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be who I was if I didn't make those mistakes. Not
For
even just
sure.
being vegetarian, but all kinds of mistakes. But I'm curious to hear your answer as well.
Yeah, and I'm actually interested in talking about it because it's sort of an um an answer that's come with a battle that I've had to deal with for a while, and I sort of talked about it a little bit on our podcast, the New Year's special we did with me, you, Howard, and Preston, or and Ryan.
Yeah.
All our dudes named Preston, but fucking what's it called? So I went through a pretty serious phase that came with a lot of depression and anxiety with me because of I realized that past me wouldn't be proud of who I was right now. And that brought like the worst possible feelings I could have ever imagined onto myself. And I'll sort of explain how I fell into that cycle. So I've been training. So, like, okay, for example, 5 years ago today, or 5 years ago, you is 15 years old. When I was 15, that's when I started training, right when I turned 15. Like, that's when I started taking this like serious. And when I started taking this serious, brought upon everything else that we do, learning about diet and doing all that shit and stretching and whatever other good shit that we do that was a product of starting this MMA journey. And that brought upon a happiness and a sense of purpose to myself that I didn't have beforehand. You know, beforehand, I was a pretty high level baseball player, and the last couple years of me playing baseball, I just like learned to resent it because it was a job to me from the time I was 3 years old until the time I was 15. You know, it was like I really did, and not I don't regret this at all. It taught me, you know, more about myself today than anything except MMA. But I really did miss out on a lot of my like childhood due to baseball. I mean, I was practicing Monday through Friday and playing 6 games on the weekend from literally the time I was like 8 until 15. So I quit baseball, and between the time of like quitting baseball and starting jujitsu was like a few month period of like, who even am I? And on top of that, I'm 14 turning 15 years old, which is already a confusing time for people to
Shitty
begin
time.
with. You know,
Yeah,
you just got a boner all day long.
exactly.
And and it's like, so I started jujitsu and then started listening to podcasts and reading and learning all of the stuff that I building a foundation of what I know now. And that's when I became happy and had this purpose in my life, this dream, this goal to work towards. And I was on a pretty straight path of all of that for about 2 years. And then that's when I got pulled out of it and when I stopped. And at first, it didn't affect me too much. I was still lifting super heavy. So, like, I had things to work towards and stuff like that. But then I had my tonsils taken out, which was like, it sounds like such a pussy thing to say, but it was literally like the worst pain ever. And like, put me in such a depressive state because like I couldn't eat any food for like 3 weeks. I couldn't even talk to people. Like it was just horrible pain in my bed for like weeks. And after that, I stopped lifting. I wasn't training. I wasn't doing anything. This was like September of last year, 2021. And that's when the sort of depression sat in of like, fuck, like I don't do anything all day. Like at that point I was still in school. I was like, I go to school, I come home, I go to work, and like that's my life. Like I have nothing else to look forward to. So it started settling in of like me 1 year ago at that time, who was like so happy doing all these things, would not even want to associate himself with the me that I am right now. And like I said, that just brought upon feelings to me that was like the worst thing ever. So then I got stuck in this loop of trying to chase my past self. And that's what I was doing. I was like a dog chasing his tail. I was just trying to do all the things that I previously did, trying to spark that feeling back into myself of like, God, please just make me feel like how I felt a year ago. Just this thing, please make me feel like this, whatever. And I really wasn't getting it. And I was just chasing myself. And like I started breaking down like mentally. And I'm just like, I'm never gonna feel like how I felt. I just I'm never gonna feel that way again. Like I'm never gonna be happy again. I'm never gonna have purpose again. And it was just like I said, an endless chase. And when that chase ended was when I came to the realization of I'm never going to catch my past self. It's an endless chase. Like I said, it's something I can't catch up to. What I got to do is cut that off, forget about my past self, and reinvent and start over and build my new self. So I started from ground fucking zero, from ground up, and built a new self that's a fucking constant work in progress. I mean, I'm not even close to where I want to be, but I once I did that, I got those feelings back. I got that purpose back. Now I've been training again, full time, consistently. Got back to jujitsu originally. Now I'm back to MMA full time. Now I'm back doing all my stuff and loving everything that I do outside of training. And now I hopefully have a fight booked in July. And it's like I'm finally back to who I was, and I did that by holding on to those past feelings and those past emotions and burying that version of me and then reinventing myself and creating new feelings. And that brought me the happiness that I was chasing for like fucking months on end. And that's sort of where I'm at now. And I sort of rambled on a little bit there, but I think now I'm at a point where I can like confidently say that like the me 2, 3 years ago would definitely be proud of like who I am right now. And that to me, like really means a lot to me. Like, and that's something that I really can't live with the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because, like with things like that, you look at it and you're like, oh, I made all these mistakes, and my past self wouldn't be proud of me because of that. But your past self would be proud of the fact that you went through that and were able to reinvent and get back to it. So, like, I've never made all the perfect choices and things like that, but I can be proud of the fact that I fucked up and did things wrong, but I still got it on the right track and kept going. Because it's easy to fucking give up. You know what I mean? Like
Right. Yeah.
that's the easiest choice, is to be like, fuck it, I'm quitting. But actually, on the flip side, I think it would eat at me more if I quit than if I just kept going. Like Dan Hooker said, he was like, it's easier to keep doing this than it is to stop. Because, like I missed a training session and I'm like fucking freaking out in my head. I'm like, dude, you're such a piece of shit. And I'm so guilty. So it's almost easier just to go
Right.
than to fucking call it quits. And,
I think that's where a really good core group of non-yes men that you trust fully, like around you, come in handy, and especially people that know what you're doing. And I don't even mean MMA specific. I mean, if you were fucking doing MMA or skiing, like just people that know about what you're doing to like give their input to you. And I don't think I would have pulled myself out of where I was if I didn't have you around me and Ryan around me and my parents around me to like really pull me out of the fucking dirt, you know? Like I know it was like a running joke between us or whatever, but it's like whenever we would do a podcast and you would be like, so when are you getting back to training? It would kill me because like I know that's what I want to be doing, but I just wasn't. So like finally, dude, it's just like it's such a weight off my shoulders that
yeah, yeah.
I
I
don't know.
mean, it's like it's one of those things where like there's only so much I can do, because like I lay it out on a plate. I'm like, you just gotta go and like just do the shit. And like
Right.
there's only so much advice I can give. You know what I mean? Like you can show them the water, you can't make them drink. So I knew, like, if you ever needed anything or needed advice, like I'd always give it to you. But at some point, like, you gotta just walk through the fire and figure it out and go through the shitty times. So um I mean, like when I've had my worst times ever, like it was nice to have people around, but there was nothing that they could do that was gonna fix it. I had to do it, and I
Yeah.
had to like fix myself almost and like put myself back together. And it was nice to have people there to support me, but no one's gonna fix you or put yourself back, or put you back together. Like you got to pick up the pieces and do it yourself. And I mean, people can offer you good advice that can help, but at the end of the day, it's really just like a solo journey. Yeah. So
Yeah. I don't know. It's yeah. It is nice though, like being able to overcome a hardship and get on either get back on the path or create a new path and forge a new path. It like it just it like leaps and bounds up in just like grit and like
it's a level
fucking
up.
I yeah, I can't even get the words out of my mouth, but like because it's fucking
Yeah.
midnight, but like
Yeah, no
um
doubt. Yeah, it
you
makes
you
you
know
it
what I'm
makes
you know what
you
I mean
better
though.
all around,
Like
a better
yeah,
person, a better
yeah,
fighter, like just a better soul, a better human.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I mean, all the hardships that I've been through have made me 10 times better. I mean, a lot of them I can't talk about on this podcast because they don't just involve me, but like, I've been through a lot of things, and um, I wouldn't take any of them back. So
right.
they definitely molds you into the person you are. And if you don't go through anything hard, no matter what it is, because one person's difficult times may not be as severe as the next, but that's all they know. So it is just as difficult, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
so, it's everyone's got to go through those. And if you don't, then your life is kosher and you know, apparently you
Yeah.
got it all figured out, which I'd
And
rather have it tough and,
just
figure things
creates soft people, you know?
exactly. But I mean that's a good question. And I think that the whole would your old self be proud of you now will really stir up emotions in people. I mean, it stirs up emotions in me because I can
Yeah.
think back to that time and it, I wasn't a great person or anything like that. I'm not saying I was like a douchebag, but I wasn't like a great person or doing anything significant. But like I think if old me could meet me now, like it would just be crazy, Like I think
Yeah.
everyone would think about that as like, wow, that's a trip. And if you have
It's
nothing to
just
offer your old self, then you're fucking doing something wrong.
right. Yeah. It's just something to get you to sort of stop and like reflect on and just stop and look back. Cause like I said, for a good like I would say like a good 2 to 3 months, that's like what consumed my thoughts every day was just the fact that like I'm a loser. Fucking my old self wouldn't be proud of me. I fell so far off the rails that I don't even know a path to get back. And like that was my entire mindset for like 3 months. And I'm sitting around like, why am I depressed? It's like, well, because I'm stuck in this mental loop of just the same exact process every day that it just like fucking, I don't even know where I was going with that. But
Yeah, no, I mean like the loops definitely get old, especially like if you're not doing like I mean, a loop of progress. Well, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be a loop then because you're progressing, but you know what I mean, like the same routine over
right.
and over
It's a
again, but
system. Yeah.
yeah, it's just a
It's like
system to get better and level up.
right. We're creatures of habit regardless positive or negative. And
Yeah.
I think forming good habits is like another key to success. And I want to read this quote actually that my dad sent me today, that Justin Gaethje said. Uh, and so this is a quote from Justin Gaethje, and it says, "It's so hard, but it feels so good to accomplish things through hard work, through making good decisions, through making sacrifices. Being a fuck up is easy, but doing things right and living by a code is something that's not easy." And it's like it's so true and just plain black and white in a sense of like if you want to be great, break it down and create small goals that you could achieve every day to be great, to just make you that 0.01% better every single day. And that like and it's a choice. And that's what you got to do to get good at something or to break one of those bad loops, break a bad a thinking, if you're stuck in a constant loop of depression or anxiety or whatever, form habits that steer you out of that like that same rotation.
Yeah. Yeah, habits are gonna what is what makes or breaks a person as far as like being great or accomplishing their goals. You know what I mean? So if I mean fuck if we didn't train every single day and we were just like I'm gonna train whenever I think I should, like you wouldn't get better.
Right.
Versus like you train on the days even when you don't want to. So yeah, I mean habits are key. Um, I mean now that we have an ice machine at the gym, I'm definitely gonna make ice baths a habit way more because it's another one that just helps as far as recovery to make the next workout even better. So that's just an example of one, but yeah,
And it's also like I said, going back to the mental benefits of cold water, cold air, just the cold is it's like there isn't many things in life that you go through that your entire body and mind is telling you not to do it, and you make the choice to do it anyway.
yeah,
And no matter how experienced you are in the ice, I don't care if you're a white belt in ice baths or if you're Wim Hof, like your body is going to give you those signals of like, don't do this. Like,
yeah,
and when you get in, it's going to scream at you to get out. And it's like, just being able to conquer that is a daily war, and overcoming that war, like we said, you level up slowly slowly. That's what I do. Yes, they're great for recovery as well, and it makes me feel so much better. It makes me sleep better. I just feel better when I do them. Um, and actually, something I want to talk about the ice water too is like it's a very quick way to break that mental loop because it's the most in body experience you'll ever have. Like I don't care how sad you are, how depressed you are, how happy you are, how mad you are. Once you get in that cold water, everything in your mind goes away except get the fuck out of here or quiet the mind, like whatever, like, it's the initial emotion, but still, like, nothing else goes through your mind except that. And I think that it's like, it's such a mood enhancer that I think if people are having a rough day, are low on energy, are just overall down, fucking get in the shower and just turn it cold for like 20 seconds. You don't even have to do 5 minutes or whatever. Like literally 30 seconds and just follow your breath. Just try and get your breathing under control. Once you get your breathing under control, keep it for another 10 seconds and then you're good. And I guarantee you, like your mood will increase by some percentage the rest of the day.
Yeah, it helps with the mental, like, because you get out and you just feel 10 times better than you did before. Um, for whatever scientific reason that is, I have no idea, but I know it helps for sure. And I mean, like, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing as like you feel like shit and then you go work out and you feel amazing. The same kind of thing like that. But yeah, I mean, it's good shit. It gets slept on. I mean, not as much anymore. It's kind of becoming more popular, but
Yeah.
I'm just excited to use the UFC PI when the time comes because
Yeah,
that thing is fucking
seriously.
badass, dude.
It is.
It's so sick. But
It's like
that okay, that I was just gonna say you can finish your thought afterwards, but that was just brings me to my next question that I had asked you because um, I had finally came up with my answer because I had fucking had to think about it for so long. But the question of like McGregor has his whiskey, Poirier has his hot sauce.
oh yeah.
All these guys have their own like side business, side brand thing. Um, and I finally came up with mine, but you can go ahead and on yours real quick of like
Oh,
what you think
okay.
you would do.
So I do want to have well, first of all, my MMA team is like my goal after I fight. Like I want to be a head coach and I want to have a smaller group of guys and have a team where it's not just like where it's not just MMA practice. It's not just jujitsu and striking. It's like, okay, we're gonna get in this room as a team and we're gonna fucking meditate together. Like we're gonna stretch together. We're gonna do ice baths together. All these things. But that aside, getting into more like the materialistic things, like I definitely want to have a clothing brand of some sort. That's something that I've wanted since I was in like sixth grade. Like I have fucking tens of designs of like I'm not gonna say hundreds because I don't, but I have like a good notebook filled with just like clothing designs, clothing brand names, logos, whatever. Whether that's gonna be like more streetwear geared or more like fight gear with equipment, I don't know. I could do both, but I think like my $1 million idea is definitely like high end jewelry. Jewelry, something like I've always been interested in, like chains, rings, earrings. I've been like super into like teeth jewelry lately. Not like grills, which I like grills too, but more just like they got like fucking cool like shit that goes just on like each individual tooth.
Yeah,
Um, but just like I think high end jewelry, which I got like I already have like branding and all this stuff like thought out about for both clothing brand and jewelry brand. But that's definitely like my $1 million idea is like I want to get into sort of the jewelry realm. So let's hear yours.
yeah. Mine would be coffee. I fucking love coffee so goddamn much. I want to have my own and I want to make it taste fucking good because all these brands lie. They're like, dude, this coffee tastes so good. Fucking doesn't. Shout out Red Leaf. I don't think I have Red Leaf in Wisconsin. But Red Leaf makes the fucking greatest cups of Joe I've ever had. So Red Leaf sponsor me eventually. But yeah, no, mine
Is
would be
Red Leaf like a place or a brand?
it's a place, like it's
Oh,
a
sweet.
coffee shop. They have like a lot of locations. I don't know how far out they're spread, but I mean they have a lot of locations here. Um, but dude, yeah, mine would be coffee for sure. It is my drug of choice. I feel like
Yeah.
it's like the caffeine so much. Like I'll drink decaf a lot of times, but I just love the flavor. Like if I want to like drink a cup of coffee at night, I'll fucking drink decaf just because I love the taste and the flavor so fucking much.
Mhm.
So yeah, that would be mine. But I mean, there's a lot of things you could do. Eventually, like I would love to coach, have my own team, things like that. But it's hard because like anytime I help out coaching and stuff like that, I feel like I put so much into this person that I'm like trying to give them all the knowledge I can and everything like that, to where what is the word? Detracts from myself. And I feel like I at this time, like I really need to focus on being a soldier and not a leader.
Yeah,
Um,
no, for sure. I think
so
it's definitely an after fight, after
yeah,
my career is done type of thing, you know?
yeah. The only thing that bugs me about coaching is the people that waste my fucking time, dude. Like, there's people like the guys that come up and ask me questions and are like, "How did you do this?" or "How did you set up that?" or "How do I do this?" Like, I love to help them because it shows me like you give a shit.
Mhm.
But then there's these kids that are like, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know how to do this. And I'm like, well, first of all, you didn't pay attention to someone explaining the technique. Second of all, like you're just fucking off and you're not even giving me the respect to hear me out and like actually put effort into it. And I think that's why you hear a lot of guys like Josh Barnett that are like, yeah, I don't take on a lot of guys because a lot of guys are in there like, I want to be a UFC champion. And then they can't even train fucking 3 days a week.
Right.
Versus you see like his guy Victor Henry, who is super experienced, comes to the UFC and beats Tony Barcelos, super great, and like he told his story a little bit. Like he showed up and was like, yeah, eventually he'll just give you shit to do, and if you do it, he continues to coach you. But if you fuck off, he doesn't give a shit.
Right.
Like
Yeah. Like Trevor
go wherever.
Whitman's style of coaching, where it's just
Exactly.
a few guys, and it's I think it's the way to go because it's really hard to create high level fighters when you got to worry about 20 plus of them, you know? It's just and it's not a knock to any coach. It's like I don't care how good of a coach you are. You could be Trevor Whitman. You could be the best coach in the world, but I guarantee you if you put Trevor Whitman in a room with 30 professionals, all of them aren't going to be top elite level. It's like just because it's human nature, like you can't give all
There's
your
time.
undivided attention, yeah, in a 2-3 hour training session.
Yeah, that's why
It's
it's helped me so much to just have my coach. Like we have a relatively like smaller team, and we've been cross training a ton, and it's just like nice for him. Like he knows my game, he knows what I do, like he knows me, and he knows all of our guys individually and what we need and all that kind of stuff and how we tick. So I've always been a bigger fan of that, and there's guys that like abandon that eventually and then go to like these bigger gyms, and I think it never really works out as good
right. I've done
versus
both.
you see guys like Jorge who takes his coach that he's had forever, I believe anyway, and takes him with him over to ATT.
Hmm.
And then you have good training partners, all the stuff like Phil DeRue to help you with your strength and conditioning,
Right.
but you
Yeah.
also get to
The
keep,
goat.
yeah, but you also get to keep the guys who got you there and know how you work. So, yeah, I mean, it's a tough landscape because you get like I feel like these bigger guys promise you all these things, and yeah, like bigger gyms can promise you better opportunities because they have a name. Um, but for me anyway, I've always said I learn better in a smaller room with more attention to be like, hey, what was I doing wrong? Rather than like just having to spar and figuring it out on my own. So,
Right.
yeah, I like it that way anyway.
For sure.
And I'd love to be able to like eventually coach a small team and whatnot. I mean, like I've been running like jujitsu warm ups and like helping coach with that a little bit. But it's tough as well because like on the flip side, I I've looked up to so many people in the game to where like now when I think about like anybody looking up to me, it's kind of weird because I still like view myself as like a soldier and not like one of the leaders. So
Hmm.
uh, yeah, it's a switch almost.
For sure. We could definitely get our fucking coaching together and get a sweet little team going. The damn
For real. For real.
that's
I
something
mean,
we've always talked about since like you said in the last podcast, we sort of created the dream together. So I feel like now we're just intertwined with it so much.
yeah. I mean, we like I told you, what's his name? We had Max Holloway's first coach ever come to our gym, and he had a team. I believe it was Team Ruthless, and I watched his podcast talking about it, and it was literally like him and a couple other guys just started out training in their garage, and then they just kept it going. So
Yeah.
it's not like they had this like amazing fucking overlord looking down and giving him all these techniques. It was just him learning, reading books, watching videos, getting as much knowledge as he can and passing it down to a small group of guys. And I mean, he was with Max for a long fucking time, and look at how good Max is.
Yeah. It's all
So
organic. It's like, I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I feel like if you go into like these training sessions with the idea of like I'm doing this to become a UFC champion, it's not good. Rather than just like going there and being like, I'm here to fucking train, have a good time with the boys, and get better. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's, at least for me, that's how it happens more naturally and
that's
works out
a
better.
that's a switch I've really been making in my own MMA journey. And I mean, I've been training for like 3 years now, and I truthfully think I've gotten better within the last 2 months than I have in the previous 2.5 years because of this mindset switch of like, I've just, like you said, I went in with that mindset of like, I got to be the best. I got to be the best. And now it's just like, I'm so eager to just learn. Like, I've never been more eager to learn anything in my life. Like, I just want to learn, you know? Like, I'm so in love with MMA right now because I'm just in love with learning about it. Like, I love reading about it. I love figuring things out. I love like we were texting. I love those little like aha moments of being like, "Oh, wait a second. Like, now this works," you know? Like that is like what gets me training every day, regardless if I wanted to be a pro or not, which, I do, and that's the goal. But even if that wasn't the goal and I worked a full-time job that I loved and I just did this for fun, like that's what would keep me going back every day is because the eagerness I have to learn about it, which I guess the eagerness to learn also stems from wanting to be the best too. But I just focus solely on like the fact that I'm coming here to learn. Like that's what it is.
Yeah,
I'm coming with an open mind, you know.
yeah, yeah. No, for sure. And I mean, like obviously, I don't like. I know going into every session, like I'm not gonna be the best guy here, but that's not the point. Like some guys want to like come
Shout
in.
out Sean.
Yeah, exactly. Some guys want to like pull up and they're like, I want to be the best guy in this training room today, and it's like, you're only as good as the people you train with. So train with people that are better than you. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I just like you said, like finding those things to make it work and expanding the skill set and things like that is what I love about it. But I mean, dude, I talk about him all the time. I am such a big Dan Hardy fan. Like watching his breakdowns has given me a new way and a new view of the sport and like how I break down fights and how I watch them. So, I mean, shit like that, hearing other people talk about it, just all brings you to the next level. So,
Sweet. I think we hit some fucking good stuff this pod. I
yeah.
think we stayed pretty alert for it being midnight, but
Yeah.
we definitely got to get the yawn counter going on this.
Dude, you would yawn. I'm like, fuck, try not to yawn. So, yeah.
on
I
this
mean, if we're gonna
episode.
be doing these every Sunday, like I'll just start jotting shit down on my phone of like good topics and things to hit. Because
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like we go over some stuff like multiple times.
Oh, for
But
sure. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we talk about all this shit anyway. We might as well do it on a fucking Zoom call
Right.
and throw up a pod. So I'm excited.
Definitely. I guess last thing to just wrap it up real quick, just because it is Sunday right now, which I'll probably be posting this tomorrow on Monday, but just quick overview, plans for the week. training schedule, whatever you got upcoming this week?
I don't know if we're gonna stop sparring 2 weeks out or a week out. So if we stop sparring 2 weeks out, then today would have been my last sparring session or one of. If not, then we'll probably do a little more sparring. Nothing like crazy. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Probably the harder days, Tuesdays, Thursdays, more grappling based. But I'm sure a lot of my stuff is gonna be like, takedown defense, cage work, things like that. Just the nitty gritty details of use your underhook here, use your overhook here, just basic shit like that. But habits. I already have my training schedule built in as a habit, so I'm just doing the same thing I do every week, just keeping my intentions good. I'm fucking excited, man. My confidence is high, so I'm ready to fight
Oh yeah,
fucking right now.
I know. I'm excited for you. I think, like I said, I think we're both gonna do big things. Like you said, win or lose, it's just like I don't know. I just feel like we are on a path that only we can stop ourselves.
Yeah.
Only only I get in the way of myself, and only you get in the way of yourself. And I think if we just continue to overcome ourselves, then it's just an endless journey to the top, as Michael Chandler would
Yeah,
say.
I mean, not to go on a tangent, but I just feel like, and not even to get super deep, but I feel like the universe or God or whatever higher power anyone believes in is just like enabling this for me, I feel like I've been so fortunate with so many different aspects and variables that I'm like, this has to be it because otherwise these things wouldn't fall into place. So, you know,
Right.
I feel like this is like I'm just made for this. And I'm sure it's tough because I hear like guys below me as far as like experience level, and they're like, I want to do all these big things, and sometimes I'm like, just wait, like train more, do all that stuff more, and then decide that stuff. So I'm sure guys way more experienced than me, high level pros, hear me say that, and they're like, yeah, just wait. But that's how I feel right now, and I think that's how I'm gonna feel in the future. So I'm gonna say it and put it out there. You know what I mean? Like these are the goals that I have, and I just feel like everything's lining up for that to happen. So keep putting in the work, keep doing what I do. You are going to too, as long as your leg doesn't fucking fall off or whatever the
Yeah,
fuck
unless I don't have to amputate my leg
Yeah,
off.
for real, bro. Word.
Well, all right, yeah, I think we wrap this one up, and we will definitely get a. I'll try to post this tomorrow. There should be no reason for me not to post tomorrow, so
For
should
sure.
be up tomorrow. We'll jot some stuff down during the week to talk about next Sunday. We're gonna start
Yeah.
getting these weekly consistently. This has to be my fucking first consistent back to back
Yeah, yeah,
upload
for
in
a
like
second.
in
Yeah.
like 2 years.
Yeah.
But
And then next Sunday we can talk about the fucking crazy ass fights. So
yeah, oh yeah, shit, I forgot that's next Saturday. I'm gonna call into work for that because I'm not trying to miss the prelims. So
hopefully they don't watch this.
yeah,
Yeah. So I mean we made our picks last time, so I'm not gonna go into it. But
yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
that's gonna be a crazy one. So we'll definitely talk about that and talk about I mean that'll be entering my fight week, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. A bunch of good
sweet.
stuff for
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Make sure to tune in for next week's. Make sure to go check out last week's if you haven't already. Shout out Preston for coming on as always. Be on the lookout for possibly a co-hosted pod coming out soon, providing
yeah.
we can get these consistently uploaded and just stay on this routine, stay on the schedule. So once again, thank you all for checking it out, and we will see you in the next one.
Peace.